So you ever look online for a video that's supposed to teach you how to keep the spark in your sex life going, and you see someone say something like this?
Guys, schedule it. Go up to your female partner and say, look, I really want to make a special night for us, or a special daytime, whatever works for you, and I really want to make this special for us. So can we plan to do this at this time?
Sure, do that. If you don't mind your girl drying up like the Sahara Desert and your sex life falling off a cliff, yeah. Let's get it in. So ladies and gents, yes, this is one of those moments where I want to respond to Dr. Malik in her video, but everything I want to say is way too long to put in the comments. So, Dr. Malik, this one is for you. Oh, before we get into these details though, please take a moment to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that the algorithm knows what's up. YouTube knows that you like watching these videos, and it'll help spread the word so other people can watch these videos as well. So throw thumbs, do what you do. Now these details though, bang bang. So this is in response to Dr. Rena Malik. She's a urologist and pelvic surgeon, so she knows about your junk. The other woman in the video with her, I'm not sure who this woman is, but it is part of a much larger podcast that they are doing together. Now, Dr. Malik has her own whole show and channel. We're going to put the link in the description. Now, you know the D is important. Know what I'm saying? In other words, go watch her full-length podcast. She's got a lot of good stuff. I'm not vouching for every single thing. I've not seen all of her videos, but I do like her health and wellness take on how she's looking at our junk. So, check her out. So we're just going to take a few snippets from this one section that I cannot remain silent on. But, you know your mans is hungry, so I'm going to eat though. Alright, let's get to this first one.
If we think about it, when we were younger, we scheduled time for sex, right? Maybe that partner wasn't available in our house. We were like, Friday's gonna be a date. Maybe there's gonna be sex. And so we had that anticipation, and we didn't have any pressure until then, right? So you had this one time you were looking forward to, you knew you were gonna be dedicated to it, and it was a big turn on to schedule sex that way.
So I'm not sure if this woman is a doctor like Rena, or if she's like some sexologist. I don't know what she does. I've never seen her before on the show. But it doesn't really make sense what she just said. I don't know if she even heard what she said. So Dr. Malik, I don't know the name of your colleague, so I'm just going to say colleague. So colleague, the issue with what you said was kind of baked into what you already said. When you're younger and you're quote-unquote scheduling sex because you don't live together or whatever, there is that anticipation baked into it already. Because you're scheduling time to be with a person, it's not like you're scheduling sex. It's not a guaranteed thing. So it is anticipation, really, that makes it exciting. It is the thing of, is it going to happen? Is it not? That's exciting because it's not a guarantee. Now, when you're living together, you're married, it's already there. Once you schedule sex at that point, that's way different. There is no more anticipation. It is a foregone conclusion that that's what you're doing. Okay, Tuesday at 2 o'clock we're going to have sex. Okay, baby? It's way different than when you're younger, college age or whenever, because I'm not going to talk about sex younger than that, younger, college age, and you're trying to schedule it and schedule time to see this person. That is a way different scenario. Scheduling time to meet with anybody has that whole tension build up. Now, anybody who knows anything about setting a scene, if you take tension out of the scene dies. So, scheduling sex in a situation where there is no tension as to will they, won't they, is it going to happen, is it not? You see shows all the time where they do the whole couples, they get them together, pull them apart, get them together, pull them apart, because it creates tension for the entire show. We kind of hate that now because it's an overplayed thing, but there's a reason for that. If there is no tension, the scene dies, and murdering the scene, that's one of the quickest ways to murder your sex life, period. Because make no mistake, having sex with your person, even if you've been together for a long time, hell, because you've been together for a long time, if you don't set the scene, that's all she wrote. It's over. It's a wrap. You have to set the scene. It is a mental and emotional thing way before it becomes a physical thing. So don't schedule it the way you just said, because you're killing the very thing you just talked about, which is that anticipation of, okay, let's see what's going to happen. You don't have that anymore once you're already in relationships and you're scheduling. So, next part.
Then now enter maybe a relationship, maybe it's a monogamous relationship, you guys are living together, and we have this myth that we should just like have it whenever, all the time, but we don't, right? We're always too busy doing other things. But if you take it back into scheduling it and say, hey, Sunday, let's do this at 2 p.m., then you're like, that's my protected time to do it. It's kind of like exercising, right? You're like, we could really work out whenever we wanted to, but we don't. So if you schedule it and you're like, my workouts are this exact time, you're much more likely to actually get it done and focus on the task at hand.
No. Colleague, you said so many cardinal sins when it comes to creating romance in your statement. Let's, and again, this is not a knock against you ladies. You both, I know watching Dr. Malik, that she's got a lot of great insight, and I'm not saying you guys are terrible or anything like that. This is not a beef busting shots video. This is just, there's a difference between the perspective coming from a academic, clinical perspective versus being on the actual battlefield and doing it for real. So, if you all are watching this, not just Dr. Malik and colleague, but all of you watching this, there is no hate here. This is all just to make sure that everybody knows what it is, because the concept of what they're talking about is correct in the abstract of scheduling time, but not the nuance. And that's what we're talking about with this. So, with what you just said, one of the things is you compared it to exercise. This is something that kills couples, because just across the board, most people don't like going to the gym. They don't like exercising. It's not something that's enjoyable. The moment you start comparing it to exercise, people are going to think, yeah, it's exercise, but like, it's starting to be a monotonous thing that we have to do, like going to the gym. You're putting it mentally in that category of something that someone is required to do that they don't really feel like doing. And if you turn sex into chore, if you turn it into something that they don't feel like doing, you're not fighting against the natural thing that already happens in relationships over time, is that sex becomes old hat. It becomes boring. It becomes monotonous. So if you throw in the whole, it's just like going to the gym, it's just like exercise. If you don't schedule, it's not going to get in. Because again, we'll get to how I understand the scheduling aspect, but word choice matters. So don't, and this is for the audience, don't think of it like exercise. No, don't think that. The other thing you said is that you said this is something you can schedule to make sure you get it done. What? Again, no disrespect, but what are you doing? No, you can't just get it done. That kills the actual connection between the people. Is just this whole finishing the mission, just get it done. No. There's no sexiness there. There's no romance there. There's no nothing. And yeah, I get it. There's the whole, that dies off over time and we don't have the time to be romantic, which is why I know and I agree with the scheduling portion. But again, you cannot say words or teach people to just get it done. That is how you can get somebody quickly going off the cliff in terms of their sex life slash relationship. If a couple's sex life is just something that they have to get done, it's just a task at hand, it's just a chore. Like, no. Women especially, and you both are women, at least I'm assuming, anyway, you both are women, so imagine yourself in a situation where a dude comes in there and goes, okay, well, all right, let's get this done. Let's finish this task. That's not going to make you feel very good. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, duh, we're not telling guys to do that. You kind of are. And again, this is why there's a difference sometimes between men and women and how we speak. If you use words like get it done, it's exercise, the task at hand, men will approach it like it's a task. We will roll up like, knock, knock, knock. All right, let's handle this. Let's get it done. Not great for the romance, and it will make your girl dry up like the Sahara Desert. Because word choice matters. Word choice that you use when you're talking to your person, and word choice that you use when you're talking to yourself. How you tell yourself, especially as a dude, and a woman too, both of us have this, but in these words, the words, colleague, that you're using, I'm telling you right now, men hear that and you just made us mission mode. It's not sexy mode, it's not romance mode, it's not, ooh, let me bring pleasure to her mode. It's just, let's get it in. You turned it from zone 5, 4, or 3 and made it zone 0. Now, watch my video on zones if you want to understand what that means, but basically, you turn it into like a hit it and quit it situation where it's no longer about making it an experience, and it's all about just scratching an itch. It's all about, well, I'm hungry, let me just get something real quick. Let me take a bite and be out. You don't want that. Not in how you're treating a person that you're with in a relationship. Not to say that there isn't some of those elements that can't be sprinkled into relationships now and again to spice it up if you're kind of like role playing or something, but that's a little different. What I mean is the just getting it over with aspect of, I don't care about the other person at all. It's not about romance, not about their pleasure. It's not, I'm just here because I have to be. If you're in zone 0 and it's a hit and quit it, you're here because you have to be, because you're hungry and you want to eat something. And the way you're putting it is now, I'm here because I have to be, because I told you on Tuesday at 2 o'clock we gonna hit, and now we are. So, word choice matters. Now, weirdly, you said get the task done. In terms of word choice, you have to, if you want to be victorious in this, you need to make it the extreme. Oftentimes in life, victory lies in the extremes. So what does that mean? That means you got to go mad soft and say, yeah, you know, baby, let's have an appointment in the bedroom on Tuesday. You got to turn it into an innuendo where it's soft. Or you got to go mad hard and be like, girl, I'm going to be putting in that work. I'm going to be beating it in. I'm going to be getting it in. You got to go here or here. You can't say words like, get the task done. You can't say things like, you know, I did my job. You can't go there. It's not going to work. Again, how you talk to your person and how you talk to you. Now, gentlemen, if you're wondering if I'm correct about this, think about it. And ladies, you too. If you hear a group of women talking about having good sex, do they use words that are not extreme? Same with dudes. If you hear anybody talking about it, it's, whoa, he put in work. He was putting in work all night long. He was handling his business. He was doing his job. They make it sound heavy, or it's light, or it's, well, you know, we had kind of a nice time. They turn it into an innuendo. Like, you know, a little something, something. maybe in a bedroom, or we're making love, you will have lighter, softer words. But anything that's in the middle of like, yeah, it was decent, we had a decent time, and we got decent work done. No middle, no decent, no task, no none of that. That's just weird. Word choice matters. Again, how you talk to your person and how you talk to you. You will approach it differently if you're like, yeah, I gotta go in there and put in some work. Or, I gotta get the task done. Getting the task done is mundane, boring, lazy. Putting in work is active and heavy. Or, I'm gonna make love, again, soft, romantic. No matter which side you go on. That middle lane will get you killed out here in these sexual streets with your person. So don't do that. Alright. So, next one. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think for female partners, right, there's this thing where like people expect us all to have this spontaneous desire, which, maybe as a younger person you had because your hormones were raging, but now as an adult, it's not necessarily there all the time. It takes some effort.
So, Dr. Malik, you actually said it right there. It takes effort. It's not something that can just happen. But how you two are describing it right now without the nuance, and maybe you do more nuance. Maybe there's no even a need for this because I only saw the minute and 30-second clip that I'm responding to right now. Maybe you do go into detail with this, but it doesn't seem like it. Seems like there's not enough nuance. But what I'm saying is how you're describing it. We'll have a dude, we'll have a man come into the situation with no build-up, with no effort, with no nothing, because it's scheduled, and we will be mission. We will be mission driven. It'll be a situation where, because it's scheduled, guys will roll up, knock on the door, and be like, "Baby, you said we're gonna do this at 5 o'clock. It's 4:59. Why are you still dressed? What are you doing? Let's get it." Where there's no romance, no leading up to it. Now, gentlemen, if you've watched these videos long enough, if you've heard me talk about how to seduce your woman, the fact is you can't jump straight into it. I've said this before, but I'll say it right now. You need to have sex with a woman's mind way before you even touch her body. You need to get her here, and then you need to get her here before you start touching all around here. So then she won't be dry, it'll be lubricated. Now I'm saying. Point is that you can't just go straight in. Now, that's not entirely true. There is an exception to that, but you have to do that correctly, of going straight in, and there's a particular energy in particular situations where that has to happen. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this scheduling thing. You cannot schedule just sex. You can't say it that way because you will have cats with no build-up expecting their woman to just give it up. They'll just be like, "Hey, wife, I took a 20-minute break from work. You said 5 o'clock. What are we doing? We're wasting time. Let's get into it, okay?" No effort. All right. So it cannot be that. Not at all. Now, if you're new to Balance of Power, this might be new to you. But here, we don't just talk about the problems, we give you solutions. So I'm going to give you actionable things on how to solve this problem and give the ladies some nuance. Because ladies, you are on the right track. You should be setting aside time, but not for how you put it. So here we go. The solution is simple. Don't schedule sex, schedule sexy time. What does that mean? That means you are going to do the thing that colleague talked about in the beginning. You're going to create a scenario just like when you first started getting together. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, like the one where I talk about seducing your woman or how you should still be winning your partner, any of these that are out there on this channel, I talk about the concept of still dating your partner and behaving like you guys just met. This is the beginning stages, like you don't live together. Roll up and play along and like, hey girl, how you doing? Like she's not sleeping next to you in the middle of the night. Like you don't already have her, you need to treat her. And the same for you ladies as well. Treat your man like you just met him. It's not just for men. But you should be reciprocating that whole new person energy. So, schedule sexy time. So yeah, it can be Tuesday at 2, but you cannot say Tuesday at 2 is for sex. It's gotta be different things that you put in there that can lead to sex, that can facilitate the possibility of sex. Just like when you first got together, sex was not a foregone conclusion. Sex was not automatic. Sex was not something that you were guaranteed to get. Know what I'm saying? Sex was, we don't know if it's going to happen. It's not. I don't know if it is or if it's not. All I know is if I put her in this position, I might be able to put her in this position. Know what I'm saying? So, examples of sexy time. Don't schedule sex. Schedule Tuesday at 2 p.m. I don't know why we're doing 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Apparently y'all are not working in my analogy. Somebody's just doing this in the middle of the day, which might increase the sexy. Don't count that out. But anyway, Tuesday at 2, let's say you schedule a massage. So let's change the time just so that it doesn't throw me off. Let's say Tuesday at 9 p.m. You're like, okay, baby, Tuesday at 9, we're going to do a full body massage. We got the oils, we got this, we got that, candles, the whole 9. Kids are going to go to your parents' house, and for the rest of the night, you know, we're just going to, you know, massage each other. Because again, it's not guaranteed sex. Even though you're married, you can't just expect that the person's going to do it, even though you probably think it's probably going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But what you're doing is creating that romance, creating the situation where you're rubbing oil on each other, touching each other. You could do it where first Tuesday it's the man massaging the woman, second Tuesday is the woman massaging the man, and just see what happens. Just see where it goes. You touching, you rubbing, and oil, you slippery, things might slip into things, know what I'm saying? So it's not about automatic sex. And because it's a different activity, you don't think, oh, well, it's 9 o'clock here, I'm pulling my pants down. Like, no. You know that you're there to do something else, and you're hoping that it leads to sex. It builds that tension. It builds the scene. Because again, whether you like it or not, whether you understand this or not, romance is a thing. It's a thing for men and it's a thing for women. Ladies, it's not just for you. Men especially, the older we get and the more busy we get, there's times where it will be pressure. If for him, he's like, okay, at 9 o'clock, I gotta be ready, I gotta pull my pants down and go do this. It turns into a task, it turns into something that you have to do. To give you an example of what I mean by that pressure that could kill romance for a guy, how many of you have been in a situation where you're trying to create children? You're intentionally trying to conceive. And during those times, sex has to be scheduled because of the window of when your ovulation cycle happens. Science. Dr. Malik, she'll be able to tell you if she knows what's up. So, during those times, yes, sex has to be scheduled. It has to be like this 3-4 day period window or whatever. We gotta be hitting it. When we gotta get in where we fit in. During that time, even though you're having sex with your person and trying to conceive life and all this other stuff, it often, for couples who are trying to conceive, starts to become monotonous, starts to become horrible and whatever. Not horrible, but maybe sometimes horrible. But the dude, on his end, he will feel that pressure. He will feel like he's got to perform. He will feel like he's got to get it up. He can't be tired. He can't be anything other than you got to be busting shots on command. That's a lot of pressure. And mental, emotional stress can influence you know, how flaccid you are or how flaccid you're not. Let's just put it that way. So, it's not just on the woman's side. That romance, that build-up also helps you as a man, and ladies, it helps your man. So, that's a thing. So the point is, schedule sexy time. Schedule a massage. Schedule hot yoga. Couples hot yoga. Maybe not at a studio, but you know, you find somebody on YouTube. I don't know any hot yoga people on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they exist, where you do it in your house during that scheduled time. Where again, you're lifting each other up, putting yourself in different positions, and it just might lead to putting things in things. Other things you can do are other physical activities like working out together. Maybe you have a home gym. Maybe you live close enough from the gym where you guys can work out together, get nice and sweaty, and you help show each other how to lift and do certain things. You're getting close and your bodies are close together, and then you're like, yeah, let's go home right now, and then it happens. Or let's say you're not into the physical activity, but things of the mind help you to feel amorous towards each other. So you lay in each other's arms listening to music. You lay in each other's laps reading a book. It could be something where you just schedule time, intimate time, where you are quiet, no children, no distractions. You're not really going anywhere and doing much of anything other than making sure you are physically close and that the potentiality to put things in things happens. Another thing you can do, where I like this idea but I don't like this idea. I like this idea because, gentlemen, whether you're doing this for sexy time or you're doing this just because women love it when you do this, you need to learn this skill. Just do this if you got free time. If you're like, yo, the stories I tell my girl are starting to get boring, or I'm Cedric, you're right, monotony kills relationships, I need to spice it up. Do this. Most things I just give you a choice, but this one, pick up this hobby. Salsa dancing. At least here in America, damn near every woman you meet is going to be like, oh my gosh, I love salsa dancing. It's a thing. Plenty of ideas and theories as to why, but that's a thing, homie. So that can be your activity, where it's simultaneously a date, but it can also count as sexy time, because the salsa dancing and how the moves go and how you're, you know, sweaty and all kinds of stuff. Again, I don't necessarily like sexy time being scheduled outside the home, because now you're having to get back home and continue that, and that's kind of a different skill set to be able to take that same energy from another place and then bring it back to the house with no fighting and no talking of kids and no anything else. So you got to practice that if you do go do something. Or you could salsa dance in your living room, in your dining room. I don't know if you're balling like that and you got a house big enough to salsa dance in, but that's a thing. But if you can do something that counts as sexy time, massages, yoga, workouts, hey, do that. So yes, schedule it, but don't schedule sex, schedule sexy time. Because again, this, yes, does require a little more work. It's a relationship. And as you know, it's not the same as when you first got the person, because acquisition is elementary. Retention is hard. So that's the end of today's lesson. I would just like to say thank you, Dr. Malik and her colleague, for indulging me in this response. And so far, what I've seen, again, I don't know everything that you all do, but most of what I've seen is very interesting, especially the scientist portion of me is all about the science of it all. So you guys go ahead and go to her channel, watch to see what other offerings she has. So for all of you who are here who are my viewers or new people, the class is mostly free, but you gotta pay a small fee with a thumb, whether up or down, doesn't matter, just let a brother know whether you love it or hate it. So again, we are a new channel here, throw thumbs, do what you do, spread the word. I know you like these lessons. You like what you heard. Who else is giving you actionable things on how to make it happen? Anyway, come on back and click on another video. Until next time, deuce deuce.